Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Seiben here for the Aether Hub, bringing you something special for this Valentine's holiday. Now, Valentine's Day is a time to show the people in your life how much they mean to you. It's about love, compassion, and sharing one's feelings. What better way to do that than completely destroying that special someone with a cheap 2-card combo? As this holiday represents the bonds we forge with others, I'd like to share with you all some of the greatest 2-card combos in MTG. They're inseparable, utterly perfect for one another, and great examples of true Valentines. Number 10 on our love list goes to the pair Midnight Guard and Presence of Gond. In terms of 2-card infinite combos, this one's relatively cheap at 6 total mana. Of course, you would have to run green-white. The combo begins with you playing Midnight Guard, then enchanting it with Presence of Gond. And just like that, you have your own personal elf engine. Tapping Midnight Guard to make a 1/1 elf token, which comes into play and untaps Midnight Guard. Rinse and repeat until the board's flooded. Sure, this couple has its disadvantages. It can be pretty easily disrupted and is vulnerable to a lot of various board wipes, but it works in Pauper, so that's a plus. Our number 9 couple is Soul Conduit and Trespassing Souleater. This combo's a little more on the expensive side, requiring 9 total mana, a turn to set up, and some amount of health security. The idea here is fairly simple. Attack in and use the Phyrexian mana ability of Trespassing Souleater until you're at 2 life or less. Then activate your Soul Conduit and trade life totals with your opponent. All of a sudden, your opponent's in critical condition and you're swinging in with an unblockable. That's GG, assuming they don't have an answer. Just hope they don't have a shock. It tends to cause a rocky end to this relationship. At number 8, we have the Lovebirds in Mikaeus the Unhallowed and Triskelion. These two go together like peanut butter and jelly, but it's chunky peanut butter, so it's gonna be about 12 mana to pull off. In terms of the combo itself, Mikaeus the Unhallowed is only here because he gives Triskelion Undying. Triskelion does most of the work from that point, removing counters from it to deal damage to your opponent or their creatures. You exhaust the 1/1 counters from Triskelion until it dies. Then Undying kicks in and it comes back into play with 4 new 1/1 counters. As a 1/1 construct who becomes a 2/2 from the effect of Mikaeus the Undying, Triskelion needs to do a little self-harm in order to ensure that it dies and comes back from Undying, making this an infinite combo. With its initial 3 1/1 counters, use 1 to ping your opponent and the last 2 to deal damage to Triskelion himself. It then dies and returns with 4 1/1 counters. Then you use 2 on your opponent and then 2 on itself. Rinse and repeat. Sure, it's an abusive relationship, but they make it work. Next at number 7, we have the original king and queen couple of Anax and Cymede with Rally the Righteous. With these two, what you see is what you get. The heroic ability on Anax and Cymede allows Rally the Righteous to give all your creatures, assuming you're playing with strictly Boros colors, +3/+1 and trample until end of turn. Of course, this can turn any ordinary attack into a devastating game changer, but it can also be used defensively to untap your board and block with some strong creatures, including the first strike of Anax and Cymede. Not a super original infinite combo, true, but one that showcases the simple joys of 2 strongly synergistic cards. Not to mention, Anax and Cymede are literally a couple on the card itself. Sure, I could have went with Pia and Kieran Nalaar, but they just don't have an as interesting effect. Sorry, Nalars. Our number 6 power couple goes to Devoted Druid and Quillspike. At 5 total mana, this infinite combo is on the lower end of our list, making it easier to pull off. Yet it's not without its issues. Devoted Druid is a pretty strange mana dork in that giving it a -1/-1 counter allows you to untap it and grab an extra mana to your mana pool. Not too fantastic, seeing that you can only do this once before it dies to its own self-inflicted wounds, but that's where Quillspike comes in. Quillspike removes these -1/-1 counters and gains +3/+3 until end of turn. You tap Devoted Druid for mana, untap it, and add a -1/-1 counter. Use the mana to pay for Quillspike's ability. Remove the -1/-1 counter from Devoted Druid and give Quillspike +3/+3. Now you're free to continue the loop until your Quillspike is an infinite. They're a cute couple to be sure, but without evasion or trample, their relationship can be stopped by a single blocker. Making it to the halfway mark on our list of cards that love each other, we get a combo that's basically a better version of our last one. This is Spike Feeder and Sunbound. Like our previous combo, the idea here is to get as big of a spike as possible, this summoned spike, being a strange creature type, becoming infinitely huge. You get Spike Feeder onto the battlefield and attach Sunbound to it. Remove one of its two 1/1 counters to gain you 2 life. This in turn activates the effect of Sunbound, which in turn gives Spike Feeder 2 more 1/1 counters. The infinite loop continues as Spike Feeder gets infinitely stronger and you gain infinite life. As with Devoted Druid and Quillspike, this combo is potentially foiled by a single blocker. But at least the Spike Feeder keeps its counters and you still have that infinite life backing you up. Next at number 4 we have the Romeo and Juliet of Magic the Gathering, Mizzet the Firemind, and Curiosity. The love this dragon has for knowledge is pure poetry, and as he learns, he slowly destroys his foes, a true love story. Luckily with the enchantment Curiosity, the learning process can be expedited and Mizzet can finally draw to his heart's content. After Mizzet the Firemind's in play and you enchant it with Curiosity, all you have to do is tap Mizzet and draw a card. Have it deal 1 damage to your opponent, which then triggers Curiosity, allowing you to draw another card, which repeats the process. Now, this isn't technically an infinite combo, love does fade after all, so you can only deal as much damage as you have cards in your deck. Usually, that's enough to kill an opponent, but it's definitely not infinite. Hitting the top 3, we have a relatively new couple with Aether Revolt, that being the interaction between Wandering Fumarole and Crackdown Construct. Now this infinite loop is fairly simple. You turn Wandering Fumarole into a 1/4 creature for 2 generic and Izzet colors, and when Crackdown Construct is out, just use its 0 mana ability endlessly. With each use, Crackdown Construct would grow and grow, until it's infinitely strong. Until the end of turn, of course. It may not be the most prominent combo out there, and it certainly has its flaws, but for this young love, they'll probably only get better, especially for Crackdown Construct. Making it to number 2 on this completely subjective list of couple cards is the granddaddy of thievery himself, Memnarch, and its ultimate enabler, Mycosynth Lattice. These two love to live on the edge, especially in Commander, taking all your opponent's things like Bonnie and Clyde. While it's true that Memnarch itself is able to turn other permanents into artifacts and gain control of them, it's at the pricey cost of 7 mana per permanent. Mycosynth's Lattice helps ease the process with a one-time cost that will permanently turn all permanents into artifacts, allowing Memnarch to gain control of them as it pleases. Now, this is far from an infinite combo. You are of course limited by how much mana you have to play with. But these two cards do work remarkably well together and have a flavor chemistry that's off the charts. It was one of my favorite combos back in the day and had to make an appearance on this list. And the final love cards on our list is the relatively young couple in Felidar Guardian and Saheeli Ray. Now, a lot of people question the validity of this planeswalker and her many feline friends, but this combo goes to show that no one can stand between a woman and her pets. The combo starts with Saheeli out and you playing Felidar Guardian. Felidar Guardian allows you to blink Saheeli Ray, which comes back into play with her original count of 3 loyalty. Then, by removing 2 loyalty counters, you can make an artifact token version of Felidar Guardian with haste. That again comes into play and blinks out Saheeli Ray. Repeat the process until you flood the board with adorable 1/4 Robocats with haste and win. This is the new standard when it comes to cards that really love one another. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Aether Hub's top 10 power couple cards in Magic the Gathering. Like all relationships, they've had their rough patches, and some even died of removal. But in MTG, as it's true in life, real love can conquer all, or at least destroy your opponents. If you have a favorite 2-card combo that didn't make this list, show your love for them in the comments below. You can also share the love by sharing this video with your friends. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the Aether Hub, consider throwing the video a like and subscribing for more awesome MTG content. As always guys, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next time here on the Aether Hub.